Classic hand cannons reach new heights, and the once king of fusion rifles returns to former glory. I'm LegoLaFlash, and this is a look at the recent rangefinder buff in Destiny 2 Renegades. What it means for new weapons, vaulted weapons, and even craftable weapons you may not have tinkered with in a while. We'll run through my favorites for each archetype, but there's a particular combo I loved so much I might actually end up maining it again. See if you can guess which one before the end of the video. But first, something else happened to Rangefinder? If it sounds like we've been through this before, that's because we have. It's kind of like that scene with Michael Scott going back and forth on
And then when you said you definitely didn't want to have kids, what, reverse back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Well, kind of like that. Originally, Rangefinder was like pure gold. The 10% zoom buff would increase magnification, accuracy, aim assist, and damage fall off distance. Then Bungie nerfed zoom, taking away the part that let you eliminate enemies further, the damage fall off distance, but everything else remained. So it still gave magnification, accuracy, and aim assist, but no one really ran it anymore. Zoom for fusion rifles was particularly screwed with during this time, to do nothing and then do a lot, so Rangefinder went back and forth there too. Fast forward to today, where Rangefinder was recently given plus 10 range stat in addition to its other bonuses. The in addition to is important because rather than just giving the damage fall off distance back of old Rangefinder, you get the plus 10 range stat, which will give you that damage fall off distance and give you more accuracy, since that's an intrinsic buff to having more range stat. And it feels great. I don't think it's an automatic swap to Rangefinder on everything you see it available on, but are some really big standouts for me, and we're gonna go over the weapons that really benefit from this bump. Hand cannons, sidearms, SMGs, and fusions. So let's start with hand cannons, an old classic, AS Luna. What a beauty. She's still obtainable from Grasp of Avarice dungeon and repping one of the best base stat sets of any hand cannon out there. The main problem is that it's not a tier 5 and it's not updated to accept any mods that push the stats further. However, the new Rangefinder buff helps you push the range to a competitive level while still doing funny things like boost aim assist in the sights column. Remember having those instead of barrels? So yeah, AS Luna feels great. And if you got one in your vault, check it out. I was really impressed over this weekend in Trials. Not quite as impressive, but way more accessible was the craftable Austringer. It's a similar vibe with a bit more stats to push, but it has Zen Moment and Eye of the Storm you'd be giving up for Rangefinder. Definitely worth trying out to see what you think, but the vast difference between 90 aim assist I was hitting on my AS Luna to 75 aim assist on Austringer was really messing with me. We've also got the old comp weapon, Rose, our lightweight sidearm, which could also roll Rangefinder. I unfortunately did not have one of these in my vault, and I'm currently kicking myself for following Dado's vault cleaning advice. Never again. The hand cannon I enjoyed the most though, and craftable, Word of Crota from Crota's Inn Raid, having Rangefinder in the 3rd column while also being able to use Enhanced Precision Instrument in the 4th for 3 taps on a 180 is gross. It felt so consistent and good at some great ranges. As much as I love AS Luna, it is not this fast. A category with a single standout for me with Rangefinder was sidearms. There's a lot of sidearms with Rangefinder now. I use it as my go-to on Fastest Decline with lightweight sidearms, so if you're looking for a current sidearm to try out, Fastest Decline with Rangefinder and Precision Instrument is a must. But the old Iron Banner Allied Demand Adaptive Frame Sidearm with Rangefinder in the left column and Iron Reach in the 4th was hitting like 90 range with Rangefinder's new buff. It genuinely felt too far for a sidearm, especially if you manage to hit the 4 crit 0.6 seconds it offers at base. We've got some current and old stuff for SMGs with Rangefinder. Currently, we've got the Immortal from Trials still dropping with Rangefinder in the 3rd column and Elemental Honing or Target Lock in the 4th. Genuinely a pretty awesome SMG. The main problem for me here is that both Keep Away and Dynamic Sway are in the 3rd column, 2 great alternatives to Rangefinder that would probably serve you better thanks to the accuracy cone growth buffs on those perks. But if you want the best of both worlds, you could check out the old craftable Aikilos SMG, which lets you run dynamic sway reduction in the 3rd column and get Rangefinder in the 4th, hitting for up to 95 total range stat and giving you that accuracy cone growth buff from dynamic sway reduction. Pretty crazy. Okay, let's talk fusion rifles with Rangefinder, because fast fusions are severely limited by one thing, the range stat. Other things will make it feel better or easier to use, but range is the only stat that will change how far you can one burst. And we have a very accessible fusion with Rangefinder at our disposal. Techian Force from Last Wish. Techian Force has frequently been at the top of fusion lists, but due to so many new fusions coming out with closing time, pushing that range stat, Techion has kind of fallen out of PvP players' minds. The buff changes that. We're hitting 90 range now, while also being able to run Enhance under pressure in the third column. I think the new Burden of Guilt is the main competitor here, but you had to have gotten pretty lucky with a perfect roll of Burden within the only 2 weekends it was featured, or extremely lucky now because it's really hard to get those drops. Techian Force is craftable to spec exactly the way you want it, and I was immediately hitting gross shots with it after swapping to Rangefinder and going all range. Really good. But what I liked even more was Pressurized Precision, the old Iron Banner adaptive fusion rifle with Discord in the third column and Rangefinder in the fourth. Surprisingly, I kept my roll here with like no kills on it, even though I previously liked High Impact Reserves roll more. Now that range is back on Rangefinder, you could potentially have an 85 range unlimited ammo adaptive frame fusion sitting in your vault. Mine only has 75 range, but I'm still very happy with it, as there is not a better, faster firing fusion with Discord. We got Afterlight during Heresy, which I love, but even with the perfect adept roll, you're only getting up to 76 range with Discord. So thanks to Rangefinder, the old Pressurized Precision will actually get you an even further free ammo Discord shot than the newer Afterlight will. And I was loving using Pressurized this weekend. I would put some rapid fire pulse rifles in here, weapons that sometimes can't get the range and keep their stat balance, but I feel like there's enough keep away perk options. The Rangefinder buff wouldn't do much for you there. If you got a favorite that does roll Rangefinder, be sure to check it out. The results of the new buff might surprise you. If you made it to the end, let me know what Rangefinder weapon's your favorite, but even if you don't, thanks so much for joining me on this look back at some old favorites. This has been LEGO the Flash. Until next time, GG.